Hello, thank you for watching this guide on how to use the Joint Committee for National Amenity Society's online Casework Hub. My name's Alison, I'm the coordinator of the Hub, and I'm based with the Council for British Archaeology. In this guide, I'll take you through how to use the Hub, how to look for casework, and how this might be useful to you. So what is the Listed Building Casework Database, or the Casework Hub? Well, in England and Wales, planning applications which affect listed buildings must statutorily be sent to the National Amenity Societies. These specialist conservation bodies can then offer comments to help ensure that the planning applications affecting listed buildings have the maximum possible advice and guidance to ensure the future of these historic sites. You can see the National Amenity Societies listed on your screen. There's the Ancient Monuments Society, the Society for the Protection of Ancient Buildings, the Georgian Group, the Victorian Society, the 20th Century Society, and the Council for British Archaeology. To track and be notified of this casework as it comes in, all 6 of these organisations share a casework database. And on behalf of all 6 societies, the CBA log these consultations as they arrive onto the database and send them through to caseworkers for them to assess and comment on it as needed. So you might be thinking, that's all very interesting, but why does it matter to me? Well, this database is publicly accessible online, and it's the only shared accessible record of casework affecting the historic environment across England and Wales. So there's a massive resource of information there, and you can look up buildings by their type, by their location, by their name, by their level of protection, so for example if they're scheduled ancient monuments, as well as a few other ways which I'll take you through. You can see what changes have been proposed, how caseworkers have responded, and you can find out all about the historic environment in your local area. So to find all the information stored on the database, all you have to do is go to casework.jcnas.org.uk, click on the Public Access button. You don't need to log in to be able to find all the casework that's logged there. Once you click on Public Access, this will take you straight to the search page for the database. That'll look like this. Now, I'm not logged in on this screenshot, so this is exactly what you will see when you use the public access option. As you can see, there are a few different ways to search through the records that are held on the database. You can filter your search down to either England or Wales. There is also an option for Scotland, but we don't have a statutory duty to cover Scotland. That's covered by different organisations. So if you click on that, you won't get many records. You can search by when an application was sent to us or made, so you can put in a particular block of time there. The Casework Database ID option is really for if you already know the number of the applications stored on our database, you can put that straight in to access it. You can also use a single keyword for the address. Unfortunately, you can't search by multiple words, but a single keyword will bring up every address that has that included. You can use the postcode, which is a really great way to look at what's going on in a particular small area. Or you can search by the planning authority, such as the local council. And if that's not enough detail, you can click on the additional criteria option at the bottom of the screen, which will bring up this drop-down menu where you can look for a whole lot of different filters. You can search for a specific application if you know the local planning authority ID number for that application. You can look for a keyword from the description of an application. This is different to the keyword search we mentioned on the last slide. That is a keyword from the address or location of the site. This is a keyword from the description of the application or the proposed changes to the site. You can look up a list ID number for a designated historic asset using Historic England or the CADU list entry number and see what's been proposed for that specific site. You can look up the grade or the conservation status of a scheduled asset, listed asset, or other kinds of protection. And you can look for particular types of buildings or sites. So for example, you could look for agricultural buildings, domestic buildings, or any of these other types. So once you've picked all the filters you want to apply and hit search, you will see a list of applications, starting with the most recent. So on this screen, you're looking at a search I ran for Grade 1 listed buildings in the City of Westminster Council. If you want to see more about an application, you can click on View. An application holds a particular type of information about proposed changes to the buildings, but there's also a record for a specific site which holds more information about it. So next up, I'll take you through applications and case files on the database and what you can find on each type of record. Applications are the kind of record that shows up in a search, as we showed on the last screen. Now these describe what changes have been proposed and when they were applied for. They also have a link to the application on a local authority website, which you can click on to find out more detail and see all the documents online there. If you then scroll down the page, I couldn't fit this all in one screenshot, you will be able to see which organisations were notified about the application. Different organisations have different remits covering different areas, ages, and types of building. So not every organisation is notified of every application, but the caseworkers who are interested in the building will have looked at the application which has come in for it. You can see the decisions that were made. So as you can see in this case, the Ancient Monuments Society and the Georgian Group decided not to comment, but I sent a response on behalf of the Council for British Archaeology. If you want to read more about the advice that was offered on how to improve the application and best preserve the historic significance of the site, you can click on the download option and read the letter that was sent. So that's applications, and that's what you can see on those. They describe the changes for a site and what's been proposed when. As you might have seen on a previous screenshot, there is also an option to click View Parent Case File on an application. Now these will take you to all the details for the site itself. As you can see, the case file contains a record of the history of applications which have been put in related to that site, so you can see how proposals have evolved over time and how the buildings evolved over time as changes are implemented. You've also got detailed information about the location of the building, its age, any interesting details like the architect that built it, and there is also a link to the building's record on Historic England or CADU, if it's statutorily listed, where you can find out more information about the building and its history. So, why are we telling you this? What's the point? Well, for a publicly, freely accessible resource, the Casework Hub is really underused, and we want more people to know that it's there and that it's available for the different ways you might want to use it. If you're doing research, you can use the Casework Hub to look for particular types of buildings, or buildings in a particular area, or buildings with a particular conservation status. You can see what changes have been proposed to those buildings and look up trends over time. If you're interested in a particular application, you can talk to the caseworkers that are active on that application. You can see whether we've been consulted on it, and you can find out more about the building using the information that's stored on the database. You can look around your local area. You can put in your postcode or your town and see what's changed near you, looking back over the years. And if you're a local civic society or a buildings protection trust, or you're just really passionate about your local historic environment, you can use the database to track what's going on. If you think there are things that the National Amenity Societies may be able to help you with, then you can get in touch, share information with us, and help us protect the historic environment in your local area. As national societies, we cover really wide areas, and it's really great to have someone with local knowledge getting in touch to tell us about the impact that an application will have on them. And there may be other uses I haven't thought of here. What would you use the database for? How would it be useful to you? And is there anything we can do to support your use of the Casework Hub? You've got my email addresses there. Do get in touch and let us know if you find the Casework Hub useful, if you want to know more, or if there's anything else that you think the National Amenity Societies can offer you support with.